It's really a pleasure to address this conference. It's really a pleasure to welcome the physical audience and also the viewers from all around the world. So one of the cyber experts just told me before this panel that all eyes are on Tallinn today. We really appreciate this and we look forward to working with you all. My job, as mentioned, is really practical one. I will brief you in about how to become a member in this gang you want to be in. So EU CyberNet network launch is the topic of this next session. Now, those of you who have been to our website, those of you who have followed the conference, the purposes of our project, the purpose of EU CyberNet, it's twofold. On one hand, we need to enhance the global delivery, coordination and coherence of EU's ongoing projects. And on the other hand, we also need to increase and enhance the capacity of the EU to provide technical assistance to third countries when it comes to cybersecurity, countering cybercrime, or basically any other matter which relates to cyber. Now, this mission is quite diverse, quite large, and I guess the logical questions you are asking now is, what does it mean in practice? So what is cyber capacity building? What are its different forms of expression? Who can be involved? Where can it take place? And so on and so forth. So on this slide, you see some of the key details listed. And what's the message of this slide is that anything is possible. You can become a member of our network and you can provide training in all the different forms. We don't have a geographical limitation, so our mandate is truly global. You can share your experience in various areas in a number of different ways. And last but not least, well, this year it also became possible, and it is very much out there, that we also provide online events. So cyber capacity building in its different forms is developing also thanks to COVID-19, and we look forward to taking this further to new heights next year. Our structure. So who are the participants of EU CyberNet? Broadly speaking, there are three types. So first and foremost, it's the experts who are to share their knowledge. And we call it the expert pool. And this really means people from the different walks of cyber. Anyone who is willing to join our network to share his or her knowledge in the area that is most close to him or her, where he or she has a knowledge to share. Then there is a stakeholder community, because in addition to experts, individuals, we also want to bring to the network the institutions. And not just the EU institutions for the viewers in Brussels, but institutions from all the member states who deal with cyber. Be them think tanks, be them the RIAs, the information system authorities of the member states, be them the academia. So basically anyone who is competent can join, who shares our values and who is willing to engage. And last but not least, of course, the global partners. So global partners are the like-minded institutions, bodies with whom we will cooperate and whom we will collaborate with, do cyber capacity building in a cooperative and cross-border collaboration. So the participants fall in three categories, and they all eventually go down to people who are members in the gang, as was mentioned in the previous panel. What are the benefits, you might ask? So what's in it for me? Here is a list of things that are the formal, or I would say listed benefits of both the experts and the stakeholders. But I would like to generalize. The strategic message here is that you can be part of something bigger. Now, our national experience here in Estonia is really volunteer and volunteerism. It's the greatest motivator of all. Being part of something bigger, essentially changing the world, building cyber capacity in places you've never been before, that is really changing the world. Then The logical question is then, how can I join? So you're speaking about joining and becoming a member. What are the practicalities? Well, in practice, we first and foremost invite you at this moment to really go to our website, eucybernet.eu. That's highlighted in the topmost red box. Then you can find the appropriate section under the network, and you can show your interest if you scroll really down. You can list why you want to join the network. You can attach your CV, and that's pretty much it at this moment. Also, don't forget to mark the website as your favorite, because we are constantly updating it. Then, if you are viewing us from the perspective of a stakeholder, so how to join as a stakeholder? Again, you go to our website, you find the appropriate section, actually right next to the experts, and if I draw your attention to the red box in the middle, the terms of reference of a stakeholder joining the network, they are listed there. Please familiarize yourself and then fill this very simple, straightforward form and send it our way, why you want to join us. And that's pretty much it for the first step. The logical question is then, what happens next? So I've done all this. Where's my information? What's gonna follow? And here you see a 5-step approach. That's the administration side. That's where we work in cooperation with you in finalizing the application. But I guess the key thing to understand here is that we will ask you to fill out yet another profile. And now you might ask, so yet another profile, I mean, isn't it too much? We actually had this in mind from the very beginning. So the profile we ask you to fill is really an easy 5-step process. We don't ask for extraordinary or superfluous personal data. Your key details, which start from your name and end with your availability, for how long and after which notice to move, as they say in the military. Quite straightforward. Take maybe 15 to 30 minutes, and that's it. And if you are a stakeholder, then the steps are even easier. For the stakeholder, first we start with sending out a letter of intent that you can fill. And when you fill it, please do not forget listing your point of contact, because the point of contact, he or she, will be the person with whom we will liaise in due course. And well, it has been mentioned that we are developing a fancy technical platform. This platform will be ready to launch and to host all your personal data from December onwards. So please stay tuned. In the meantime, please do sign up using the means I mentioned on the website. And last, but very importantly, the question, so what are the skill sets you're looking for? And here is a cloud of words. So we did run an analysis last summer, taking several months, speaking to tens of cyber experts. And when you think of cyber, you can really think of anything. And that's the good thing about it. So if you're a cyber expert and you think, am I invited to join? Of course you are, because you can be an expert in cyber risk management, or you can be an expert in critical information infrastructure, or you can be an expert in 5G or AI, which were highlighted in the first panel as the critical skills we will need tomorrow. Yes, all the experts are invited. If we take a step back, the skill sets from the cloud, you will also see them when filling out the profile. It will take a bit of attention, but we have tried hard to find, to map so that everything is on the table. And if you see that a critical skill is still missing, please do not hesitate to tell us, because this will be very much a development in progress throughout the next years. Cyber is changing, the world around is changing, and so the skill sets are changing as well. And that was it. We really thank you for your attention. This was the first EU CyberNet conference. We will have the next one already next year. Next year is 2 months away. This was the cybersecurity month of European Cybersecurity Month of 2020. Stay safe. Don't download any strange attachments. Don't click on bad links. And we'll see you in CyberNet. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Siim, and it's a pleasure to have you here addressing these practicalities. So we have an opportunity for all the viewers to ask questions about the which are practical nature linked to the EU CyberNet. You can ask them by clicking on the last session panel. There is a button next to that, and you can pose your question there. But starting with some of the most common topics as usual, I mean, it's all about money in the end of the day. What are the costs for participating for stakeholders and experts? Maybe, Siim, you can briefly explain that.
Well, it is a very cost-beneficial endeavor. I mean, if you join the project, there are no associated costs. When you go on a mission, it will be financed and funded by the EU. We don't impose any membership fees or anything like that. So rest assured, it is really about you being able to share your knowledge, the donees gaining your knowledge, and that's basically it.
Yes, I mean, thanks for that. I mean, the first question I see here in the list is, how can I join the activities from outside the European Union?
It was mentioned in the beginning, this is an EU-funded project, and at this stage we are primarily looking for experts from the EU member states. However, we are also open to cooperation with nationals of like-minded nations. So that's really in a nutshell.
Next question, I mean, linked to the expert pool, of course, is that what are the criteria on the basis of which you will evaluate the applications, and how do you prevent opportunistic applications that would make using the pool more difficult?
One of the things I've learned in my career in cyber defense and cyber security is the importance of trust. So we are not building a network of random individuals, but at the end of the day, if you think back of the second purpose of EU CyberNet, it is to bring together the community of cyber experts from all the member states. And trust is really the key issue we are aiming for. Opportunistic, yes, there is opportunism in the world, but we try to make our best. And what is the key element here is that you are willing to share your data as accurately and transparently with us in the profile as possible. And speaking of trust, you can trust us in defending your personal data. We have taken a special care of really speaking to the gurus of GDPR and other laws and regulations so that the precautions are taken.
Okay, I mean, a question from here about the target group. I mean, is this only for public institutions, or can private sector entities participate as well? And if yes, how?
As mentioned, in the stakeholder community, we asked the competence centers, so different fields of life, where you have an institution that deals with cyber, very much welcome. But on the other hand, cyber expert is a cyber expert. So if you're an expert, you're most welcome to join.
A question very clearly linked to that. I mean, what are the expectations or requirements for becoming an expert?
Well, you need to be... that's a good question. There are no limitations, actually. But when you highlight in your profile what are your achievements, what is your level of education, there are some rules in place from the European Commission standards that having a university degree, speaking foreign languages, not having criminal records, these all will, of course, apply also in the case of experts.
Okay, so it's a wide range of experts that you're expecting. A question linked to that is also, could you perhaps elaborate on the difference between skill sets and keywords that you were earlier demonstrating on a screen?
Somebody's already has logged in and is looking at this graph. Well, skill sets are the broad areas that relate to cybersecurity, as mentioned, anything from 5G to international law, Budapest Convention, so broad areas. And the keywords are the specifications under these skill sets that allow you to say that if you are an expert in EU policy, you can be an expert on the GDPR or on the cyber diplomacy toolbox or anything like that. So more concrete issues which the target nations, target institutions might request assistance in.
Well, speaking about the target audience, maybe a question from the audience here as well. I mean, in which countries do you operate, and exactly are you also interacting with the European Cyber Agency, ENISA?
We are. Actually, we have had several very fruitful engagements with ENISA. Our headquarters is located here in Tallinn. Our representation is in Brussels, and then all the collaboration partners, current and future ones, are all around the Union.
A question about the priorities that we probably addressed earlier as well, but I mean, what are the priorities for EU CyberNet?
My priority as a project lead is to get the project underway. I think we have come a solid way, and we are now really into achieving the core objective, that is bringing together the network and establishing the community of stakeholders.
And then it's a bit more detailed question here, which is about the experts and the experts' profiles. The question is basically whether you are only looking for cybercrime or cybersecurity experts, or also you might be interested on the expertise on e-evidence, and also an experts who have an experience with how to gather the e-evidence and how to contribute in this regard.
As I mentioned, the worlds of skill sets in our project, so the different areas that relate to cybersecurity, yes, e-evidence is one of the keywords under the skill set cybercrime, but not only, because many issues in cyber, they touch upon a number of skill sets. And we are, if I may say so, also customer-oriented. We will try to provide the missing skills which our cooperation partners and the other EU-funded projects are looking for.
Okay, thank you very much. I mean, that's more or less the list of questions that has been submitted up to now. I will maybe ask as a last question to you, Siim, to remind kindly, I mean, where the different experts can reach you. I mean, where exactly is the web page? I mean, whether we can and how, I mean, whether all these presentations will be available after the conference.
If you look at the slide again, if you can display that, eucybernet.eu. So 2 times the EU in the website address, and the website, I think it's quite easy to navigate. Go to network, and there under that you will find the places to show interest to join. As mentioned, this was the first conference, but meanwhile, please do follow us on Twitter at eucybernet.eu. Also, if you've taken good insights from this conference, hashtag CyberNetConf 2020 is the one we would invite you to use when posting these insights to Twitter and elsewhere, so we can take stock of that and, let's say, conclude our conference.